Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Tuesday, October 13th, 2020, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It's Tuesday. That makes it a cartography and world building day. And we've had three cartographies in a row, and we're going to do a fourth because we had about 2.5 or 3 months worth of world building without any cartography. I should mix it up more going forward. So we'll probably look toward doing some world building next week, and then I don't know, 2 for 1 maybe. It's hard to say. It depends you know what captures my imagination because I kind of shoot from the hip on these things. I suppose I could build a schedule in advance beyond what the basic theme of the day is, but sounds like we got ourselves a leaf picker upper going by. And despite the fact that the OK Grognard Show studios are of the highest quality, sometimes being on the second floor of a building here where I'm recording with windows all around, sometimes those extraneous sounds from outside can be picked up, especially if they're particularly loud, like the leaf sucker upper truck. I know that's kind of a technical name, and I apologize if I'm using jargon that people aren't following, but I think it's pretty self explanatory. So there you go. Anywho, look at that map. Ho, doggy. You actually just released that yesterday, so this is a very brandy new map. Dyson Logos. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've been a Patreon supporter of his for, I think it's 7 years now. A little over 7 years, actually, because I think it was summertime when I first started supporting him on Patreon. It was my first one. George, morning. How are you? Yeah. Dyson started doing a thing just in the past few weeks where he releases maps in the regular way with a grid, without a grid. But then he decided he'd try also overlaying them on top of a parchment background, and he wanted to also number them. And in this way, the map was more ready for someone to take it and pop it into a commercial product, or give it, put it into distribution with some additional populating and put in the tricks and traps and monsters, and she's ready to go. This is not an adventure building day, so I won't go too much into populating it here in this stream, but I will say something else he mentioned doing with this particular one, and you can go check it out. It's the most recent release on his site. The thing he was doing with this that was different was he wasn't using his normal or regular pens for this. He was using Sharpies. They're fine Sharpies, but that's still thicker than what he normally uses. So they have a certain thickness. See how I worked it right back in to the lines, which is interesting. You know what? Let's pop over to this other screen and have a look at the actual page where he is releasing it. Of course, it's Dyson's Dodecahedron, an RPG blog with a few maps. This being Cartography Day, we'll do a little focus on him. See how it goes. This is his homepage, dysonlogos.blog. And excuse me. Yep, heavier lines. I had a little. Oh, here we go again. Ah, a couple of sneezes there. Pardon me. Looks like those things come in threes. So here we go again. Anyway, pardon me again. Monday, October 12th, yesterday, at the time of this broadcast, was when he released this. He does say this, and there's a picture of him, his setup where he was drawing the map. The dungeon began as a small set of mines cut into the hill where an underground stream was bringing gold to the surface. The mine quickly played out and was repurposed by the cult of Garathon as both a small shrine and sacred crypts. There's the map there. If you click on it, you go to a PNG file. Morning, Big Dano. Hello. How are you? Thanks for joining the stream. Be sure to follow the channel. We do a weekly giveaway, and if you're following and you chime in on the chat stream, that puts you on the list to be eligible. No purchase necessary or anything like that. We just do it that way to ensure that we're not putting a bunch of bots on the list and then thus having to chase a bunch of phantoms when it comes time to do the giveaway. Well, you got 26 followers now, Big Dano, because I'm a big believer in following people that come into the channel. If you're counting, that's 7 sneezes so far that I've had to hit the mute button for. So that's fun. I've not played 1E since back in the 90s, you say? Still, was that what you started with in the 90s, or was 1E something you started with in the late 70s or 80s and played for quite some time then? Mark, here is a daily show at 10 a.m. Indeed. This is the 10 a.m. OK Grognard show, Central Time, coming from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Every day I do a bunch of different themes on here so that we touch on a lot of different things, but it's mainly a first edition AD&D focus for any rules and stuff. We go pretty far afield when we discuss things, but at least as far as the main focus, we should say, right? And when we talk about other rule sets, it's often in comparison to first edition AD&D. So this day, though, this is kind of non-edition oriented because we're talking about cartography, and obviously a lot of this cartography can be used in a lot of different ways with just about any edition, just about any version or medieval fantasy rule set. And of course, you can plunk, ruins and interior maps like this down in just about any type of setting. This could be a contemporary setting of fortune-seeking anthropologist finding some cave complex somewhere, or it could be on another planet. A bunch of traveler people popping down on a planet and finding this complex, and it all depends how you want to use it. 10 years old when he started playing D&D. That's cool. Yeah, I was not much older than that myself. So, yeah, it's been a lifelong lifelong pursuit for me. Did you stick with gaming, or did you get out of gaming for a while? Did you just move along to new editions? And as I was saying too, we've got a version with no grid, a version with a grid, how he releases them, as he always did. And now he's got this new way of doing it the past few weeks with a parchment background and also numbering the different locations to make it easy to just utilize it right out of the box. Is that the word to use? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and open this in a new window with the full, and then we're going to do this. There we go. Don't forget, a lot of these can be used in all sorts of ways, not just as a fan, but you can use them for publishing your own stuff. Commercial Commons license is what he releases them under, so you just have to... the Commercial Creative Commons license, I should say. And you can find all that information toward the bottom of every post on his website when he releases something like this, and just follow the instructions. But the long and the short of it is that you have to give him credit for the map that he produces, and that's hardly a big ask. Just checking it out, from the bottom left-hand side, we've got this number 1, and you know, these are pretty big. I'm going to pop that there so that you can get a closer look. And notice the beautiful job he does just with the tiling, or rather the grid. It's, you know, these are all hand drawn. Obviously, he does that digitally, but they're still hand drawn, so you don't see a lot of repetition as you would in a true tiling sort of a background. Look out on the left-hand side, lower left here, the way it edges out. Notice the background has some cool script kind of underlying it. That's pretty neat. Rooms are not perfectly square in most cases, obviously being hand-drawn like they are. I like how we're going up. Oh, we're going down actually over here. This goes down this way, this goes down this way, and then you're down on a lower level. So this here is a sort of a balcony from this processional in 4, looking down over 12. We'll pop back over here. I like this rondelle here with a couple of statues. Doesn't go all the way around, so we put ourselves a maybe a treasure area here down by 8. Perhaps a coffin, I don't know. This is being used as a crypt, they say, so, or he has said. Now, that doesn't mean you have to use it that way, but certainly looks like it would be easiest to use that way. We're already down. We're going back up over here, and we went down in 1, 2, 3. It's always good to check 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there. So basically down 3 increments. Whatever that increment would be up to you. Notice this portcullis on the other side of 12 here. This is a rough-hewn location. We went down 3. Now we're going up 1, 2, and up 1, 2 from 13. This is on the same level, 12 and 13, to get up to this hallway. And then you can go up 1 more to get to 15 in this room here, but you also have a secret door now on this level because we've gone up 3 after going down 3, right? And on the 1 level down from the entry level, we've got this little room over here. Notice these both open up onto 11 there, which looks like a sort of a storage area, an unloading area along this underground stream. Well, it's not completely underground. It comes out here on the left. But if you want it to flow this way, you can be bringing supplies in Maybe it flows this way and you're sending supplies out. If it was a mine, that might be more in keeping with what it is. Interestingly, though, these levels are both below, so this stream must cut pretty deep. For these to go down, this must be up much higher than the river, or the stream rather. So keep that in mind. Unless this is going under the stream, which I guess is possible. I'm thinking the stream's cutting through here. So I would say it was a deep channel stream to be down at this lowest level. And for the entryway to this complex to be 3 increments higher. Cave as well as river entrance. Sarah, good. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you. Solid map, number of options. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. We got a good look at this Dyson Logos map now. Let's take a little time to look at his website in a little more detail. Since we're talking about cartography, we can pretty much look at a lot of his site, but let's look specifically at maps. He's got all maps together, and this is based on how he's tagged the blog posts. Commercial maps are separated, tutorials and help, adventures, ones that he's done the map for and then written them up. Cities and towns, inns and taverns have their own sections for those types of maps. Multi-page dungeons, geomorphs, which are pretty neat. Print them out, use them at the table, and you can rotate them and use them randomly. You can use them on the fly. Vertical morphology, that's when you've got a kind of a side view of things, or a isometric, right? Kevin Campbell has a section on here too. Let's do, tell you what, I don't think I've ever focused on his tutorials and help section, and he's got some cool stuff going on in there. Let's have a look at that, because that'll be fun. Tutorials and help. He says, I've drawn up a few how-to infographics during 2013, and a couple of them went viral out on the wild world of the interwebs. The first one also appears in a modified form in the awesome Random City zine. Morning, Death Angel Shadow. How you doing? Yeah, George. Back to that map real quick. Cave entrance could be 20 or 30 feet higher than the river. Absolutely. And there's nothing to say that that is not above ground level. The entrance could be way up high with a sort of a balcony that sticks out that needs to be climbed up to. Also, you could set it up that way. I heard it's morning and I'm out of shape, says Death Angel Shadow. Bet he drew a bunch more in 2020. Yeah, you know, he just keeps drawing more and more and more, right? He says, if you're interested in an article on the philosophy, design, and specific tools I use in drawing and posting, check out this article on drawing of maps. He's got a link to that. I also have a number of videos on my processes and work, mostly in fast motion time-lapse format, on my YouTube channel. He's got a link to his YouTube channel there. I will go ahead and open that up in a new window, since we can pop it out. What do we got here? I see. Okay. We're only losing the very edges there. This is pretty neat. Being a 7.5 minute semi-facetious tutorial on how to draw maps like that Dyson guy. Easy cheat number 1. Draw 5 lines per square in your graph paper. Change what direction the lines go in from square to square. Simple, clean, easy to do. Still looks awesome. It's true. Those hash marks are fine. Slightly fancier than number 1. Draw alternating sets of 3 lines, but this time fit 12 lines into one square of graph paper. Not as clean as number 1, but looks like you worked more. And that's something too. Draw 3 lines, draw 3 more, draw some more lines, grow a pair and draw more than 3 sometimes. Step 4, connect those clusters of lines with more lines. Step 5, double single. He likes that better than that. You can even use only 2 lines, but don't use single lines. They break up the flow. Throw in some rocks, he says, dots and debris, the orphan sets of lines. That's it. Put all those little lines around your kick-ass dungeon map, and you suddenly don't need to wait for that Dyson guy to draw the map you want, as if he doesn't draw fast. Quickly, I should say. Pro tip, the lines of your maps have to be thicker, heavier than the lines of your hatching. Either use a thicker pen or draw the walls double thick. Yep, take a look there. You can see that the walls of the actual map, the dungeon, are indeed thicker. Look at that gaping maw. You don't want to fall down that thing. And then the hatch marks are fairly thin compared to the wall and all the other features. This tutorial brought to you by that mapping guy, Dyson Logos. He's got an advanced Dyson Dungeons. Remind you of anything? Advanced there? Yeah, there you go. You can click on that. Draw dungeons like Dyson. He's got a side view stuff so that you can get that cutaway look to put your levels, your layers of your map at different levels. Shows you how to do that. And then delving in deep dungeons with Dyson. He's got a nice, let's see, open link in a new window. Let's do that. He's got this very nice legend, and we'll have a closer look at that real quick. Over on his site. He just did this, 2013 also. Although he was working on a new, it's a little big for that. You know what? We're just going to bigify it this way. There we go. Delving into deep dungeons with Dyson. There you go. So, it breaks down some of the different features of the dungeon that he draws. Natural walls are simple enough. Worked walls straight. Archways and open thing like that. Throw a doorway in. A couple of lines on either side of an archway. Secret door. Throw an S in there. Stairs. Natural rough. You know what? Let's stay up top. We'll scroll down after we look at these. Secret trap door. Double door. Elevated ledge. Ledge with a ramp down. Notice those lines converge. Ruined wall. Sticking out like that. Bars are portcullis. Pit trap. And a lot of these are time-honored, traditional ways of drawing various dungeon features. So, yeah, he's got his own style, and he knows this. He's not reinventing the wheel for most of this. Trap or trap trigger, that might be more his own. I'm not sure if that's specifically something that gets seen a lot. Boxes and barrels, very nice. Sarcophagus, not just a regular coffin, right? Crypts, sloped elevation, rope and wood bridge, and a stone bridge. We'll zip down to the next lot here. Stairs, natural or rough stairs. I always think of those as like rungs that have been put into a steeper point between two elevations. False door, passage underneath, trap door in floor, and we saw the secret trap door above as an S instead of an F. You'd put a C in there for a trap door in ceiling. Lake or pool, battlements, a ladder, a statue, pillars or columns, a bed or cot, nice little line, just a couple little lines. Very simple way of making that adjustment there. Table and chairs, easy enough. And notice how those wing out like the arms of a chair around a circle. So you might put stools around this would just be circles without the extra wings, right? Throne and dais. So we've got ourselves a little couple of steps up to a throne chair, right? Altar. Put a couple of dots on it. They might signify that there are candles on there or some such, but it's more of a denotation that this is set up as an altar. Doesn't necessarily have to have candle. Small ledges, a crevasse, cave under ledge. So notice the cave goes in there. This is coming down, so this is higher up. Debris, rocks, or scree. See all of the icons interacting with each other at RPG Characters, WordPress.com's maps. This is also goes to the same blog. Ooh. Well, we can just close her down that way. So there you go. That is the maps and tutorials section. There are also some information. Read through the additional stuff toward the bottom because he's got other links in theirs, other insights that he's added when he's answered questions on his blog. So it's all worth reading. It's not the ping back, there's more. It's not the sort of comment section that you should be fearful about checking out. Interesting that he does his world cloud at the bottom. You can see the sort of things that come up very, very often. Obviously, Dungeons and Dragons, commercial maps, fantasy maps in and of itself. But there we go. So we've checked out his website and looked specifically at the tutorial stuff in drawing maps. He's got a lot of tips over there. It's well worth checking out. If you do wind up using a lot of his stuff and following him, hey, maybe join his Patreon. He's got links on his site to go there. Like I said, I've been a Patreon follower of his, supporter of his for over 7 years, and I've not regretted it. He just continues to put out more and more and more good stuff. Well, I tell you what, Time on the Wall is telling me that... Is it on the wall? It's not really on the wall. I'm full of it. Time on the Clock, on the other hand, says that it's getting close to the half-hour mark, so I'm going to go ahead and move us forward. I want to say thanks to everybody who's following the channel. I want to say thanks to everybody who's following the channel and chiming in on the stream chat, and be rest assured that I am getting you in here on the list for the giveaway. Jeff, George, Sarah, thank you. Got all of you. Big Dano, we'll throw you on there too. I assume you're going to follow the channel, and if not, well, we can always remove you later, but let's say you probably are, and we'll just take it on faith. That's the kind of guy I am. And I also want to say, come back and see us again, 10 a.m. tomorrow and every day on the OK Grognard Show, because we do stuff 10 a.m. Central from beautiful Lake Geneva every single day. Tomorrow is campaign discussion. We've got GMing tips on Thursday, building adventures on Fridays, GM reviews on Saturdays. That's where we look at something outside of gaming usually, sometimes inside gaming, and look at it from the perspective of a GM. How useful is it? What can we glean from it? We do a rules retrospective on Sunday. That's almost always 1E AD&D oriented. So look for that on Sundays. On Mondays, weekly news and announcements, and then we're back around to Tuesdays for cartography and world building. Hey, I also want to say, if you're catching up with us on YouTube, thank you very much. Please do subscribe and give us a little thumbs up. If you have a bit of constructive criticism, add something in the comments. It's always helpful to us, and we like making the show better, so we appreciate it. At the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.